Welcome back to the BetCanada Challenge. This is your host, Jeff Lloyd. We are talking AFC West. You just got to hear an episode on the Kansas City Chiefs, and will they maintain their dominance in the AFC West? We are going to talk about the Los Angeles Chargers today, and I'm going to let the cat out of the bag a little early on this one. I think there is a significant opportunity for the Los Angeles Chargers to dethrone the Kansas City Chiefs from the AFC West title in 2025. Look, they have a great coach. Jim Harbaugh did great in year one with the Los Angeles Chargers. Year two, this team could be primed for an even bigger jump. Let's start on the offensive side of the ball. Justin Herbert, all world arm, all world size, and better athleticism than a lot of people give the 6'6" quarterback formerly out of Oregon credit for. Before we get to the skill players, let's talk some offensive line. Ryshawn Slater, your left tackle. Joe Alt, your right tackle. Free agent addition right guard Mekhi Becton coming off the best year of his entire NFL career. Zion Johnson at the center and Bradley Bozeman at left guard. The Los Angeles Chargers offensive line is a unit between Slater, Alt, and Becton. These are the three guys you put off the bus first, and you scare the living daylights out of any opponent you might have. Now, now they had J.K. Dobbins last year, did a fantastic job as the lead running back for that team. Was good. Harbaugh wants better. Not only did they agree on a free agent deal with running back Najee Harris, formerly of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they then took their first round selection in the 2025 draft and selected Omarion Hampton, running back out of North Carolina, who was a fantastic player. The Chargers are building a team, especially on the offensive side of the ball, where they want to be able to play it both ways. If there's a week, they need to rely on the arm of Justin Herbert and the talent of a Lad McConkey, who very well may be the best wide receiver in the AFC West. Think about that for a second. Quentin Johnson, year two, went certainly better than year one. And although the overall production was not going to wow you in regards to where Quentin Johnson was drafted, 8 touchdowns is a huge number. And Johnson was able to reach that last year. Mike Williams is back in Los Angeles with the Chargers. I'm not going to put a lot of faith in Mike Williams in a reunion here with the Chargers being a big difference maker for this franchise in 2025. However, I will look to second round pick, wide receiver out of Old Miss, Trey Harris. Trey Harris was a very underappreciated player in the 2025 draft. And a lot of people I discuss draft prospects with and share information with, there were a lot of people who actually said when they talked about Trey Harris, he may not be as tall as Mike Williams, but he certainly kind of has Mike Williams's game. So you look at this offensive line, and obviously we know how much Jim Harbaugh likes to run the ball. So if you're the Chargers, you can do this both ways. There are weeks you can rely on the overall talent of Justin Herbert and his weapons and win through the air. But more importantly, and this is what changes things with winning football teams, you want to be able to run the ball when you have to. When? Closing out games in the fourth quarter. When you were on the road. When you are in the playoffs in January. And weather could be a factor in Buffalo, in Kansas City, in Baltimore. All of these things, the Chargers are putting themselves in the position to be a very good all-around team that should have a team that functions well, home, away, in weather, in good weather. The Chargers are really, in my opinion, being slept on at this point in time, and a lot of it, for me, has to do with the offensive side of the ball. We are talking Los Angeles Chargers. We just did an episode on the Kansas City Chiefs, and we will next tweet up for our next episode on the Denver Broncos. Now, there are some concerns certainly for the Chargers, as their defense may not be on par as some other teams in the AFC, or maybe some other teams within the AFC West. Khalil Mack is still a dominant pass rusher. Production year in, year out. But it doesn't seem like there's really a running mate for Khalil Mack. There is not a second pass rusher on this team that some of the better teams in the AFC have. It kind of seems like Khalil Mack is the only guy here. If the Chargers were to tinker with this team at all, anywhere between now and the beginning of the season in September, it would not phase me. It would not surprise me to see them add a pass rusher. I'll tell you what, how about former Cleveland Brown Agbanaya Okoronkwo? I'm just throwing that name out there, but he could be a guy that could maybe fit here with the Los Angeles Chargers. Middle linebacker, they Day and Hanley was fantastic. He was a tackling machine, and you don't see that often with young players. And Henley last year, in just his second year, had over 130 tackles. You were in the zone of Hanley. You went down. Junior Colson is also another nice interior linebacker who translates well in the nickel defense for the Chargers as well. The secondary, you still have Derwin James. Derwin James has been a stalwart in the NFL for an extremely long time, and he's still just as good as when he came into the league. He can play around on line of scrimmage. He can play a deep safety. He is good in man coverage. He is a fierce tackler. And most importantly, with Derwin James, and this has been his calling card since his days at Florida State, he is a guy that can create turnovers. When we talk about the cornerback position, for the Chargers. This is where maybe the cause of concern comes in. Dante Jackson comes in from Pittsburgh automatically into a starting spot here with this Chargers defense. He's a good player. I don't know how you could possibly look at him or any other corner on this Chargers defense as being the number one corner. Cam Hart will start on the outside. Your nickelback is Tahib Seal. And closing out the safety and the secondary positions for the Chargers is Aloy Gilman, now going into his sixth season within the NFL. The Chargers are going to need to take a step up on the defensive side of the ball. And on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to have to be crisp and quick. If they can get off the field, the way this Chargers offense is set up, the Los Angeles Chargers defense doesn't have to do a ton. Get in, get quick stops, get off the field. Because the Los Angeles Chargers offense should be one that absolutely eats the clock. Justin Herbert throws for a great high completion percentage. He's great on rollouts. He is great at taking the ball himself if the receivers aren't there and taking the yards that the defense will give him. They run, and they run a lot under Harbaugh. Well, they did that last year. They did it successfully. But now they upgraded, and they didn't just upgrade one running back, they upgraded with two running backs. Najee Harris, big, physical, not easy to bring down, will always get you the yards that the play yielded. Najee Harris does not get stopped behind the line of scrimmage. If the play is blocked and the guy's got it for 4 yards, Najee Harris will get you your 4 yards. But Omarion Hampton is where it gets interesting. He can go the distance from anywhere on the field. Now, normally you think when we talk about a back with that type of ability, we're talking about maybe a guy who's a little bit smaller or a little bit undersized. But no, no, no. That is not the case with Omarion Hampton. He tore up the ACC last year. He cannot be brought down by arm tackles, kind of has some Nick Chubb traits to his game where he is a guy with long speed, but he is a guy that is going to break arm tackles. He is a guy that's always going to push forward. He's a guy that doesn't very often get tackled in the backfield. Omarion Hampton to the Chargers was a fantastic selection. I don't know how you defend this team right now. because Lad McConkey is just so slippery in his route running. He can get deep, he can get open underneath, he can run to the sticks. Herbert obviously has a high velocity arm. You give him any window, he is going to thread it and get the yards that are needed. I think the Los Angeles Chargers may just end the Kansas City Chiefs run in the AFC West. I know Denver could be a competitor. The Raiders aren't there yet, but do not sleep on the Los Angeles Chargers in 2025. We appreciate you watching this video. YouTube thinks you'll like it. We think you'll like it. Throw a like, throw some comments on it, and we appreciate you all for coming out. Join us next time when we discuss the fate of the 2025 Denver Broncos.